right, time for Cup of Tech Gumbo. Time to welcome back into the studio Haggai Davis. Haggai, happy St. Patrick's Day.
And to you as well, Mr. Irishman.
That's, well, percentage-wise, I don't know how accurate that is, but in spirit, 1,000%. I got my Metro St. Patrick's Day. Oh, which, by the way, this one, this was from last year, so our Grand Marshal was Billy Nungesser.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was from last year, but it was originally from 2020, which got bumped. The St. Patrick's Day parades were the first things that got bumped, well, other than, sports that were scheduled for the day of. But, I mean, remember that, like, Mardi Gras happened, and then St. Patrick's Day didn't?
March 19th,
That's
2020. We closed the world down.
Yeah. Well, it was sooner than that. It was 19th or 3rd. And we don't need to squabble over that. We got too much to talk about here. So I want to get to social media and its effect on teenage girls and teenage boys, but mostly teenage girls as a father of daughters. I want to get to that in a minute. I do want to spend a minute on the U.S. threatening to ban TikTok. Again, this time they mean it. This time for reals, for reals. This is your double secret probation, TikTok. They're really going to drop the hammer this time because they're going to take TikTok away from 100 million users at 90 minutes a day. That's kind of the access or time we spend on TikTok, about 90 minutes a day, so that China will have to go back to buying the information for a lesser rate than it costs to own and operate an app.
Yes, we've remind everybody that Google, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of those things do the exact same thing that YouTube does. China bad, California good.
Yes, but even up to and including the part where California sells the information back to China anyway.
Absolutely.
It's not like China doesn't have this information, doesn't have all the everything that they're accused of tracking us for and following us for and wanting to know our latest dance trends and secret steak recipes. That's what TikTok's following, right? That's what they're getting from us.
Sure.
They know that we're in the parking lot of a grocery store. When we're in the parking lot of a grocery store, they know all that stuff.
They know what you're eating. They know what you like to eat, what you want to eat tomorrow, because they can anticipate based upon everything that you're.
They're better at it than Google
and they
is.
They have the best algorithms out there, and that's why TikTok is they're exploding. So they're growing so much faster than everything else out there.
Yep.
And so the U.S. government is really, really threatening to pull the plug. We're going to kick them off the U.S. ability to hit them from the internet.
So the Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., which needs 2 more letters added to it. I don't know what the first 2 words in the acronym need to be, but so the Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., a multi-agency federal task force that oversees national security risks and cross-border investments. Okay, how about the Border Operating Committee on Foreign Investments in the U.S.? That way we can call it the BOCEPHAS.
All right, I'm good with that.
I lost my place now. I got the BOCEPHAS and I lost my place.
You got all your rowdy friends coming over tomorrow. So come on, BOCEPHAS, get back on track here.
The Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., or the CFIUS, made the sale demand recently. TikTok executives have said that 60% of ByteDance shares are owned by global investors, 20% by employees, and 20% by its founders, though the founders' shares carry the weight that they carry outweighs all the rest of them, so the percentage doesn't matter compared to the weight. Let's start with this basic question. Is there any chance in hell that they actually sell?
No.
Okay. Is there any chance in hell that they actually shut TikTok down?
No. And because right now, if you remember back during the Trump administration, they forced TikTok to move all of their stuff in the U.S. to servers at Oracle. Oracle bought the rights to have all of that data stored here in the United States. And so they've complied with what the U.S. government has asked to do in the past. And now the U.S. government is just, we need a whipping boy. We need somebody to go blame. And TikTok's just an easy target from both sides of the political aisle. We can go out there and give our stump speeches saying how bad TikTok is.
This is one where I don't think anybody wants a solution. They want the issue.
Absolutely.
You said whipping boy. I would say boogeyman. I think those are synonymous. That's the same thing.
Yes.
And so it's amazing how the conversation has evolved over time, though, because at first glance, TikTok was the boogeyman. It appeared there was legitimate reason to get rid of them. But once you pull back that curtain a little bit further, you see all the other social media outlets sitting there, and you pull it back a little further than that, and you can see those social media outlets tied to everything that's not the U.S. as well.
When you look at, just from the reports that are out there, of all of the actual national security secrets that are going out the back door to China out of Washington, D.C., and then you look at what's being collected by TikTok, and you think TikTok is the issue?
Oh, thank you. All right, thank you. That's kind of where I've been the whole time. Like
and I'm not a fan of TikTok. I'm not trying to say, hey, TikTok's great. Everybody, I don't have a TikTok account. Don't want one. We've made that very clear over time here. I just don't understand the furor over having this app showing silly people doing stupid things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you what, though, the flip side of that is there's a bigger discussion to be had because TikTok is a lot of silly things, and I love it because it's escapism. But there is a lot of direct conversation involved, a lot of free speech involved. We got to pick that back up on the other side of the break. Coming up on 646 at Talk 107.3 FM, a cup of tech gumbo will continue after this. Corinne Jean-Pierre, is that her first name? Blank stare, flip through pages without looking at them. Also press secretary. I have something on that. Oh, here it is. No. Like, why did she do that? Why does she flip through papers she never looks at? That's
who?
Part of it.
Oh, the White House press secretary?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea what her name was.
Yes.
I tuned out Washington, D.C.
Well, it used to be Jen Psaki.
Yeah.
PSAC, as they called her. Nobody calls her that.
Should. Yeah, the thing about if you look at, like, Europe doesn't have any of these questions. They don't have any kind of problems with TikTok. You know why? They have the GDPR. You're in complete control of your data privacy. And if you want to...
Can that be implemented here? We had this discussion months ago,
right.
And I legit don't remember.
No, you can't, because they can't agree upon what time of day it is in Washington, D.C. to pass meaningful legislation to give the users control of their data.
I'm still listening. That guy's got his foot up her bum. What the hell? I don't want to know. I don't even know what that was. I think I don't want to know.
Oh.
Anyway, they got the GDPR as opposed to just the regular PR. That's the PR when you're really mad.
General Data Protection.
Oh, that's what GD stands for.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I had no GD idea.
Yes. But you have complete control over the data and as to what's being collected and what's being stored.
Uh-huh.
So if you pass something like that in the United States, then you don't have to worry about TikTok and what they're collecting or not collecting, because you would have control over that.
But that'll never fly here. It's just it's a non-starter here.
It is. And part of this, what we talked about in the second segment on the show, the cyber policy, the national cyber policy that Biden is trying to push right now, does mention some data protection here in the U.S., but it's dead on arrival. It's not even going to get across the street from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah.
Because it's not. Anything he says is, we got to stop that. Whether it's good or not, you just can't say it. I mean, you can't be good, so it's frustrating.
Yes. Okay, let's pause for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Birds.
For watching with binoculars?
Yes.
Byron said Chris Nakamoto, give him a taste of his own medicine.
I like it. I don't think Nakamoto uses binoculars.
I don't think he does either.
I think he just goes up and bangs on your door.
Yeah.
Plus, he doesn't
use a middleman.
He's the one operating your Roomba.
Binoculars are good.
No,
also,
that's China.
watching the International Space Station go over. It's cool.
Yes.
Renee had the number one answer, bird.
Birds.
Sporting event. That's what I thought of.
Okay.
'Cause I
Yeah, a
know
little
Chris
spotter
uses
action. A
them.
little
Yeah.
Jim Nickel.
Yeah.
Little Jim Nickler.
Neighbor.
That was
Number
Serious.
17.
that was Cole Taylor. That was Cole Taylor.
Like Jim.
Me
The
too.
star. I would use a telescope for them, not
See, and
binoculars.
yeah, I would go straight to telescope for stars as well.
A concert/opera.
I would go home.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to an opera.
You wait.
I'd
yeah.
go to a concert, but I wouldn't get nosebleeds where I need binoculars.
Well, but if I go,
But they
so
got the big screens
all I
behind 'em now.
exactly that's right. Even in the nosebleeds, they've got the big screens.
yeah,
All I
true.
sit is in the nosebleeds because I can't afford crap. So, but like saw Taylor Swift from the nosebleed. Well, not the nosebleeds, I guess. It wasn't that bad for Taylor Swift. But Christy took me to Bruno Mars a few years ago. That was
fun.
that wasn't just nosebleeds. Like Christy has a fear of heights, so that was like get drunk to sit down type of like our old seats at the East Upper of Tiger Stadium. Okay, let's go. Yeah.
Little liquid courage.
Lot of liquid courage. Lot of
She is Irish then.
oh yes.
Extinct years ago. I think you mean
They're not
government
real.
owned monitoring drones.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I stand corrected. What's the next one?
Name something your stomach does.
Growls.
It's a good answer.
Name something that my stomach does. I'm trying to come up with the wrong answer here.
Yeah.
Expands.
Pisses me off. Stretches out the middle of all my shirts. Yeah, growls is going to be the number one answer on that one. It's got to be. What did we leave off with that we said we were coming back to within the TikTok thing? Oh, the free speech part.
Yeah.
The level of anti-wokeism, and I know TikTok feeds what we want, right? But the level of anti-wokeism that's on TikTok is beyond compare.
Really?
The level of LGBT community saying, just leave me alone, leave me out of it. I don't care. I just want to live my life. The amount of black republicanism on TikTok is ridiculous.
Really?
It's over the top. And I think that's where the real fear comes in. Dance for your partner, lock the door, say. Lots of fun at Tunes Wake. 652, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Cup of Tech Gumbo, as we do every Friday. Haggai Davis in the house. We were talking about TikTok. We're going to wrap up that conversation and move on and talk about social media as a whole and its effect on our kids. But the last thing I wanted to get to on this one is the other side of TikTok that nobody ever mentions is our access to free speech, our access to each other on an I don't want to say unhinged, an untethered level. I see more diverse conversation on TikTok. And yes, it is a goofy app. It's a lot of recipes. It's a lot of dances. It's a lot of jokes. But at the same time, though, I see more diverse, in-depth conversation straight from the source on TikTok than I do on any other platform out there.
And I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it's a wildly popular app that people can put their message out. They can communicate with one another. And that's what social media is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were talking
but
about...
it's so monitored on all the other platforms. It's so overly monitored on all the other platforms.
We were talking about in the break, if you want to get rid of this whole argument, have the U.S. Congress pass some form of data protection like they have in Europe with the GDPR,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes away. Because Europe doesn't have a problem with TikTok. Because Europe, if you're a citizen in Europe, you can choose what data is collected or not collected. And if TikTok breaks those rules, then they will be kicked off the continent. So pass some data protection rights, and then TikTok it's just another company.
Yeah, and that feels like a better step than constantly threatening to take away the car keys.
Yes.
This time we're really cracking down. And by the way, if you want an example of how direct that free speech is, I'm not just talking about like voter to voter, constituent to constituent. North Carolina Representative Jeff Jackson is on TikTok, and he is unbelievably forthright and forthcoming with information as he's a brand new congressman, and he's walking this path with all of his constituents, and he is way too open about what goes on when the doors close on Capitol Hill. It's great. He's a Democrat who it's so honest, I don't buy it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Headline, 13-year-old social media minimum age should be raised, health officials say. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, he's calling for government limits beyond the current industry standard of 13 years old. Haggai, what's your immediate takeaway on whether or not 14, 15, 16-year-old kids should be on social media in general?
So I didn't raise daughters, so I don't have, a dog in that race, but you have a choice. Are we more worried about 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls or trillion-dollar corporations? Because if you ban the girls, these 12 to 16-year-old girls, the absolute target market for social media like Snapchat and Instagram,
mm-hmm.
If you take those young girls off of the platform, you blow a major hole in their advertising budget.
Right.
But when you look at the reports and the studies as to what this is doing to the image and mental health of young women, of 12 to 16, 17-year-old girls, it's not good.
Right.
And so, and mostly because boys that age are just morons, and they don't have a clue because they're all worried about is the score of last night's game or what they're going to be doing later on today.
Mm-hmm.
Girls really pay attention to things as to what's going on social media platforms, and they are fed these images and they get these wrong impressions as to what they should be looking like or should be doing, and it's really not fair to them as to what, as a society, we are doing.
Is there a way, and I'm asking this as a father of daughters, is there a way to stop teenage girls from being teenage girls? And if there's not, then isn't it more incumbent upon the parents to parent your daughter, parent your son before social media versus holding them back, and then letting them run wild at a certain age? Is the age an arbitrary thing here?
Very much so. And it's not like back in the 70s when I was going through that age, girls didn't have other things going on as well. I mean, you've got so much more access to information and images from global perspectives now.
Yeah.
And so this was the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act in 1998 from the Federal Trade Commission that came up with the age 13 as to what was an appropriate age to keep kids off of social media. Because in 1998, we knew so much about social media.
Right.
And then it's just kind of stuck around at 13. And you've got to try and decide as a parent, okay, well, what do I do? My daughter's coming home. My son's coming home. Mom, I'm missing out on what's going on. And so even if you create an app that on your app says must be 17 to do this, well, okay, I was born in 1993. Go.
Right. It's not like they can. Well, I say it's not like they can't scan a driver's license, but can they scan a driver's license?
Well, but they know how old you are based upon the things that you're doing and posting, and the information they're tracking from you. These social media companies know exactly how old these children are who are on social media. They know the 10-year-olds that are out there, and they're pushing ads towards the 10-year-olds. They know when you're 12. They know when you're 15. They know exactly how old you are. And so shame on them for they know you're 10 and they're pushing ads to you. That's not something they're supposed to do, but they do it.
I don't know that there's a way to stop it, though. That's the problem.
I don't either. but something needs to be done.
And the whole, I don't know how to make this comparison without sounding completely crass, but the longer you hold your children back from society, once you release them into society, the less prepared they're going to be for it.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm torn on it because I understand the problems here, but at the same time, though, I don't know if the proposed solutions are the right solutions. With what else coming up on the show? We got 10 seconds.
A lot of cybersecurity in the whole big second segment, and we got a good question of the week about bringing your own device to work.
Okay, well, that'll be in full serving of Tech Gumbo Saturday and Sunday at 4 and everywhere you get your podcasts. He's Haggai Davis. Always appreciate the time. Here's ABC News. So, yeah, the bring your own device thing. I kind of like it. Like it's
okay. So there's
let me find, because I read up on this a good bit. We can keep talking about this. We can keep talking about this right after we get the full answers on what your stomach does.
Number one answer is growls.
Yep.
Get upset.
Oh.
Stretches. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Digests. And wiggles.
Wiggles?
Oh, your belly rolled.
Don't look confused. I'm sitting right here. Like it just it shook when he left like a bowl full of jelly. That's how about oh, I got this one, cuz not stomach, but helps tell me what I should think. It tells me what I should think. That's what my gut's telling me.
That's
Yeah.
good.
That's what my gut's telling me.
I like it.
All right, get the next question out there. Then we're
Sometimes
going to
I
go to
can't tell if it's like my gut or my anxiety, though.
it's
So I'm like,
Enneagram 6. All right.
Okay, wait, hold on. Name a beverage that tastes terrible if it's lukewarm.
My answer's not going to be on there, but we'll let that float for Facebook for a minute. All right, so bring your own device. The companies are moving towards, instead of giving you a cell phone, letting you bring your cell phone and they'll just reimburse you on the back end. What's the downside here?
The downside, if you sign your bring your own device policy and they put the corporate software on your phone, because there is software that if you leave employment, they can go and wipe things off the phone. If there's a lawsuit and you've been taking pictures of job sites and things, your phone now becomes discovery. And they can go and look at everything on your phone, all the pictures on your phone, all the information that's everything, all your contacts, who you've called, where the phone has been. And so if you have information that you don't want others in your family to know about where you've been and who you've been with, then, and that's an extreme example.
Like, you're already doing something wrong.
Right. But also, if you just don't want the company to have access to see what you had for dinner last night, because it's okay to see it if it's on Facebook, but you don't want them pulling that data off of your phone to look at things like that, then it's so if you're going to have your bring your own device policy that you have signed and says, okay, company, you have access to my phone because I'm doing work on my personal phone. You're exposing your phone to everything that's on there for your company to come look at.
But if it's a company phone and you're going places you're not supposed to be going,
but you're not going to make personal phone calls, you're not going to have personal contacts, you're not going to be posting pictures of dinner or what restaurant you're at on your corporate phone.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got you.
And so that separation of personal and corporate life, if you're concerned about things like that, have two different phones. That's a pain in the ass to drag around two phones. But if you are going to have your phone and do corporate business, have a conversation with your HR. Have a conversation with the IT folks. What do y'all really look for? What can y'all really go back and look into my phone with if you need? And if I leave the company or if I'm terminated or whatever, what happens to that data that's on my phone with the software?
Time to get a look at that forecast. Here is WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo.
But if you have that information and you come back in, what information are you really going to be pulling off?
Right.
And so you just got to have a conversation with the company you work for if you're bringing your own device to work or using your personal phone for corporate business, be careful.
Yeah, I guess I'm so like I don't have proprietary software on my phone, but I do make all my work phone calls from my phone.
That's different.
And
So if you're going into wiring closets and taking pictures of wiring closets like I do with my phone,
I'm going into press conferences and taking pictures. So